Sound sync. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 311 Griffin YouTube channel. I just got back from a mission trip that I went on last week to this place that I'm showing here, this Cedar Springs. Um, and I just want to talk about it for a minute. This is quite a different video, and that's okay. But I got to go on this trip with my daughter and some other people from our church. And Cedar Springs is an interesting place. This was my first time to go. My daughter's gone before, and a lot of people from my church have gone a number of times. They've been going for, I think, 12 years or 15 years or something like that. Excuse the interruption. So, the reason I want to talk about this is I was just really impressed with what Cedar Springs was. And I'm talking in my videos a lot about anytime I ask for support of my channel, I always want to emphasize that if you have something out in the world that you think needs your help, that you want to support through financially or with your time, that I'd rather you give to those things than to my channel, and that I want people to tell me about the things that they're doing out in the world. And I mean that, I really do. And I'm trying to do more of this kind of stuff, more mission trips, more helping out in the world. And I'd be lying if I said that there wasn't some small, like, or maybe rather large part of my brain that wants to make a video like this so that people can see what I'm doing. But that's really not why it is. It's something I fight all the time, but ultimately I want people to know about this and about things like this. So what this is, I'm going to give a really quick synopsis of what Cedar Springs is. It is a camp in Louisiana. It used to be a school, and I don't know the full story, but essentially it started off with like one part of the where the school was. It's a gym and some other buildings that they've kind of turned into dormitories, and they've kept the gym. And they started having camps there. Now you can rent this camp out for your summer camps, and I think they do a lot of church camps and some other things there. But the thing that my church helps with is a camp where they take foster kids from around the area, mostly there in Louisiana, I think, although they've taken some from Mississippi in the past as well, because they're relatively close to Mississippi. And they bring them into the camp. And some of these kids, not all of them, but some of these kids have siblings that they've been separated from through being placed in foster homes and things like that. And so at this camp, they get to reunite for a week with their siblings, and it's really quite touching. Now, there is a part of the camp that is kind of dedicated to Christian ministry and trying to bring people to Christ. And I know that that's not something that some of my viewers are into, but really the camp is dedicated. That week of the camp that we were a part of is really dedicated to just ensuring that the kids are safe, that they're having fun, and that they feel loved, because a lot of these kids have really difficult lives, and this is just a really fun week for them. It gives their foster families a chance to kind of get a break. It gives them a chance to get away and to fellowship with other people, and in a lot of cases to see their siblings that they don't get to see very often. So that's a really cool thing. Now the kids from my church, the way this works is the kids, the youth from my church, they're not kids, they're like sixth grade through seniors. They get to help the camp staff, which are paid staff members. They get to help them with the kids. So it becomes almost a one-to-one thing where you have a staff member or a youth from our church with one or sometimes two of the campers. And they get to spend a lot of time with them. The adults that go, the men typically do work around, or at least this year. I don't know how it's been in the past, but what we did was we helped with buildings and facilities and yard work, things like that. I'll go into more detail about that just because I want to. And then the women from my church, the adult women, they kind of help the youth from our church make sure that the campers are cool, or safe and having fun. they help kind of run things at the camp, and they'll leave sometimes to go get stuff. So they did a really good job of making sure that we were hydrated. It was really hot and really humid out there, as one would expect in July in Louisiana. So they would bring us Gatorade, Sonic drinks, water, food, snacks, things like that, and just make sure we were okay. And we got to fellowship with our youth, with the campers, and with each other as well. So like I said, there's a real there is a kind of a Christian aspect to this camp, but it's really all about the foster kids and making sure that the camp has some help that they need, because this camp is having to piece everything together. You can rent the camp out, you can go to camp there, but they don't have a lot of money. Finances are a thing, and over the years the camp has really been blessed with people donating land and buildings and things like that to the camp, and that's really the only way they make it work. Um, so specifically what we did, there's a house on this land that really needs to be burnt down, and they use it as sort of a girls' bunkhouse at times for specific purposes, not for the campers, but for the staff. Usually it's adult women who are staying there. Sometimes it's youth workers who are coming to help. But this building, what they originally wanted us to do was repair some boards on the back deck for this building. We sort of convinced them. They came to the decision, but we were kind of leaning heavily towards this decision. But they made the decision to tear out the deck and then rebuild it at a later date, possibly smaller, but maybe the same size. We're not really sure. There were also a lot of boards on the house itself that need replaced. We replaced some of those, but not all of those. And then there were, it's a house on a slope, and there's cinder blocks stacked up, just like one cinder block at the front of the house, and then like up to probably four cinder blocks at the back of the house, maybe five. And there were three around the outside, and at least three underneath the house that either were falling over, completely fallen over, or weren't touching the floor joists. So we crawled under the house and kind of like jacked it up and stacked blocks and leveled some stuff out. We also fixed some pipes under the house, and then we also fixed some stuff on the porch at the gym, just to try to get them a little bit more life out of that. It's a nice porch. It was in good shape for the most part. We just had to like shore up some stuff. We didn't necessarily do it the permanent way, but we got it done for now. And we built some steps for the other house that we had torn the deck off of to make sure that people could come out the back door, because it was about a 5.5 foot drop, maybe something like that. I don't have many pictures because we were really busy, and then there are legal reasons we can't show pictures of the campers, so I'm not going to be showing many pictures. That's why I've just got this website up for the background. But that's what we did. That's basically the rundown of what the camp is to us and why we help and what we did this past week. One of the really cool things is on the last day when the campers go home, it gets quite emotional. And that's what really drilled this into my brain, that this is the real deal. This is really making a difference in people's lives. Even if it's a temporary difference, it's a difference, because um, those campers get so attached, and they feel so loved and so welcome and cared for, that they actually get quite emotional. And in some cases, they're leaving their siblings, and that's why they're emotional. But um, like I was seeing campers like run up to my daughter, and she would just pick them up. And she wasn't the only one. They're like all of our church youth were kind of in this same boat, but they're picking these kids up, and the kids are just bawling because they don't want to leave. And it's time to go home, and our youth were crying. I had kids coming up to me and hugging me, that I'd connected with during the week, and I wasn't even there most of the time. I was out in other parts of the property. But there were two or three kids that I really connected with in the time that I had at the gym to kind of hang out with them. I got to chat with them about, one kid lit up when I started talking about video games with him, because he really liked Farming Simulator, and he told me all about all of the different farming simulators. And it was like he had his head down, and he was just about to fall asleep at first, and he was really just seemed bummed out. So I started talking to him, and once we got on that subject, it took us about 10 minutes, but he lit up. There were other kids that I saw like talking about fishing with some of the other adults and some of the other youth, and they were all about it, you know. So that's really what did the deal, and made it very real for me, was the emotion whenever these kids were leaving. It was a lot of happiness, but there was sadness as well, which means something. That's not nothing. Um, so I want to spread the word about stuff like this, but specifically Seeker Springs. I know not all of my viewers are Christian. This is a bit of a Christian outreach, but there are other ways you can make a difference, and you don't have to be Christian to appreciate what's happening for these foster kids that some of them aren't Christian, um, but they're loved anyway, through efforts like this. So find something like this to give your time and money to. And for this in particular, you can go to this website, seekersprings.com. Just be warned, it's not a secure website. So like my and I probably shouldn't be. I mean, just be warned. Like I don't want anybody going and trying to take advantage of this website, but be warned if you go to it. Like you might get some warnings and stuff like that because it's just not kind of an up to date modern website. The main thing there is they do have a shop if it will load. I had some trouble loading last week, but they actually get they sell some stuff. They sell it all out of there, I believe. So the proceeds go all to their ministry and what they're doing. And obviously, you'll notice that I have that shirt on. I bought it last week. I love this shirt. This is a really good shirt. Um, so mugs and stuff like that. If you want to support them, go to this website, seeker-springs.square.site. Buy some of their swag if you want, if you can use it. There's possibly other ways that you can help if you want to try to help this effort and you don't necessarily want to contact them or you have some trouble getting used to them. I can get in touch with them. I'm not necessarily going to give you their personal contact info. I don't necessarily have all of it, but I can definitely get in contact with them if you're serious about doing something. So don't mess around with it. Be serious about it. The last thing, and then I'll leave it alone. I got a chance to sit down for about an hour. I talked to this gentleman several times during the week, but last Monday night I got to sit on the front porch of the gym because they built a porch onto it with a bunch of rocking chairs on it. It's got a Cracker Barrel vibe, that place does. So we're sitting out in the evening on the front porch in the rocking chairs, and I just sat down and talked with the guy that kind of runs the camp, who's kind of in charge, and just had a really good, deep conversation with him. And God's really working through him and using him to help people, even people who aren't Christians. And he's making a difference in people's lives, and it was really good to sit and chat with him. He's a genuinely good man. I also got to spend a lot of time with their facilities I don't know what his title is, but facilities manager or maintenance manager, something like that. Amazing guy. He's retired from his previous job. He retired and then kind of went to work for them, and just kind of takes care of everything around there. Amazing guy, and we had a lot of fun building stairs and ripping lumber and tearing things out. But he wound up being a super good dude, and I had a lot of chances, a lot of opportunity to talk to him and get to know him better. It's a good crew, like it's just a really good crew, and they love God and they love people, and it was a great week. Very stressful, very hot, very fatiguing, but very good and very rewarding. And this is the kind of stuff I'm trying to do more of this stuff because I get more out of it than the people I'm going to help. Um, it gives me more reward than I'm giving other people when I do stuff like this. And that's not why I do it. It's not a karma kind of a thing. It's just that's the way it works out. So again, I'm not necessarily trying to say, hey, you got to go give to Seeker Springs, but I'm saying there are places like this all over the world that are just trying to help people out. Some of them are Christian, some of them aren't. And I would encourage everyone watching to just go make a difference somehow, some way. Not you're not going to be able to hit a home run every day, but just somehow, some way, be thinking about this kind of stuff and be looking for opportunities to go do stuff. Every little bit helps. It doesn't take much sometimes. And then when the opportunity arises, maybe something big comes up where you can go for a week or a month or whatever it is and go help some people out. So that's my time. That's me. Thank you for watching, and make the world a better place. Thank you.